It took the Russian armed forces 2 minutes and 7 calibers to destroy the Foreign Legion of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Hello my dear viewers. It's already March 14th. And today I want to depass a little from the tradition which I have been following for a few days already, to talk in the first material about events, well, not quite distributed from that war that is going on in Ukraine, but therefore, more distant to me. Today I want to talk about a very important, one might say the most important event that happened yesterday on March 13th, but it did not happen on the line of combat. It happened in western Ukraine. Nevertheless, it is most directly related to the military result on the fronts of Ukraine. Yesterday morning, when it happened, it was still not clear what the consequences would be. But by evening it became clear that the consequences for the armed forces of Ukraine were simply catastrophic. So, in order, what happened? For 2 minutes, some residents of the Ukrainian villages of Volyn observed the flight of 7 cruise missiles of the caliber. Ukrainian villagers assumed that these rockets were flying to Kyiv. However, a few minutes later they landed at the Yavoriv training ground. In 2 minutes, 7 cruise missiles hit there. As a result, according to official figures, 35 people died and 134 were injured in combat, and most of these people were representatives of the so-called Foreign Legion, which was formed over the past days in Ukraine. The number of this region was supposed to be increased to 2,500 to 3,000 people, that is, a full-fledged brigade, which was supposed to be sent to the front line in the near future. Moreover, a significant part of the soldiers who were supposed to fight further in this legion arrived at the base in Yavor just a few hours before this event. They have already managed to write about it on their social networks, brag to their relatives, friends, acquaintances that we have reached here, that we are already starting to organize here and will go to war with Russia. And a few hours later, some of them from Poland wrote, "That's it, we are returning home." Those who certainly survived this disaster. Moreover, a few hours later, those people who organized the so-called Foreign Legion, so they reported that the formation of the Foreign Legion was temporarily suspended until further notice. They really didn't name the reason, but the reason is banal and simple. At the Yavoriv training ground, in 2 minutes, 200 people from this failed legion were killed and wounded with 7 missiles, and the rest quickly fled to Poland and said that they would not go to Ukraine to fight again, because this is not an easy walk. This is really a war for which Western inhabitants, Western, so-called volunteers, were psychologically unprepared. The first real blow showed who they really are. By the way, pay attention to the fact that there is a very sharp contrast with the combat effectiveness of the regular units of the armed forces of Ukraine, which, let's give it their due, fight very bravely and often to the end. This once again shows that Ukrainians are not Europeans, that Ukrainians and Russians belong to the same civilization with one, in fact, mentality, which the West is trying to stubbornly split into pieces. That's what I wanted to say today in this short issue.